Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Paranormal True Crimes. Hope everybody had a good week. Hello, Tess H. Hello, Crazy Witch. Liana. Samantha. Caroline. How you doing? Kelly Joe's in the back. We got Tammy Johnson coming up. How you doing, Tammy? Hope everybody's doing well. So how's everybody doing? So, let's see here. Anybody else that I miss here that's fallen in? Dondon, hello. Welcome. Welcome to the show. First time being in. Hope you're doing good. Just want to say we're going to talk about Sarah Graham from North Carolina. So, yes, Tammy Johnson switching to YouTube. Speaking of that, this is for entertainment purposes. All parties are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. We have to disclose that, don't we? So this is part 2. The psychic reveal, the panel. Sarah Graham mysteriously just disappeared. Interesting. No media coverage. So, Tammy Johnson sent 300 stars. Well, thank you. Wow. That did not work. I went to paste my GoFundMe link in there. I have to get that redone, but let me show you a little clip here. I did find one media clip on YouTube. Let's see here. For Sarah Graham. Give you just a little brief overview. And we'll play this clip here. Let me blow it up a little bit. Let me make sure I share my audio too. This case doesn't add up. Let's see here. Present, share screen. Hello, Angela. I'll see you backstage. We'll be right with you there. And action. There we go.
Her family said she left their home in Fairmount, North Carolina, early that morning to go to work. She never arrived. Hours later, her van was found abandoned in a field along East McDonald Road. The FBI and the Robeson County Sheriff's Office have followed hundreds of leads and interviewed dozens of people. FBI Special Agent Smith has been investigating her disappearance from the very beginning.
Everything we've learned about Sarah tells us that she did not take off on her own. She's responsible. She had a job at Walmart and was considered a dependable employee. Sarah was making friends and was happy with her new life in North Carolina. While most of the people we have interviewed have been cooperative, we believe someone very close to her isn't telling us everything they know. We have uncovered a lot of evidence, but we still need that missing piece to bring Sarah home. Now is the time to come forward and help.
At the time of her disappearance, Sarah had short, dark brown hair, wore glasses, and had braces. She is Native American, 5 feet 4 inches tall, and weighed 160 pounds. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $5,000 for information leading to Sarah's location. Call FBI Charlotte at 704-672-6100 or submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov.
So, which is very interesting, is that during the last show, hello, Aussie Sue and everybody. So during the last show, we realized that it wasn't hours that their van was missing. It was 15 minutes. She left home at 6:30 a.m. It took her approximately 20 minutes to get to work, to go to Walmart. Remember, she was an on-time employee, very responsible. People Remember, witnesses saw her van in that field next to that tree line 15 minutes later after she left from work. Now, why is it now they're saying hours? Once again, more red flags. Now the information, once again, is not adding up, or one and one's not two. So once again, we have the stepmother that worked for the sheriff's department, no longer employed. We have the father that was a sergeant of the sheriff's department, also involved, no longer employed, mysteriously left, went to another small town police department. Now he's the chief of police of another agency. So what happened? So once again, a well-known employee, right? We know that for some reason she left Texas. Argument ensued. Probably didn't get along with the mother. Now, we don't know what happened, but we know that something did happen. And she was like, screw this. I'm going to live with daddy. And she left. And she went and moved home with her dad. And not too long after that, she just not even, 6 miles down the road, not even 15 minutes later, her van. Now, ladies and gentlemen, her type of van that they showed was a 96 Astro van. Now, ladies and gentlemen, those types of vans back then, you had to lock the door 2 ways. Now, the cheater way is you get out, you hold the handle up, and you press the button, and you slam the door, then let go of the handle, right? That's old school way. Or you slam the door and use the key and locked it. So it was locked. So she was last seen wearing her Walmart smock. Little apron thingy, little thing that says Walmart on it, the little blue thing. So, hello, Twisted Witch. Welcome to the show. But what grabbed my attention of the case, ladies and gentlemen, is that nobody in the media took this case. That's what was strange. Dad, the sergeant, the mom, right? Stepmom, we'll phrase that. I would be screaming bloody murder. And don't forget, she's part of an Indian tribe. Remember that? Largest in the nation. So, hello, Chris. Welcome. So, I don't know. There's a lot of red flags that doesn't make sense. Now, conflict of interest, yes. Family involved, investigating. Now, I'd be one of those ones that if it was my daughter and the sheriff's department found the vehicle registered to me in the middle of the side of the road next to the wood line by the trees. And, hey, Sergeant, why is your vehicle over here locked up? Yeah, I think I would probably show up, and I'll probably have some, problems restraining myself, probably trying to not get involved. I understand that. I respect that. That's hard. But, you have to abstain yourself from an investigation because what can happen? Can you alter evidence? Can you change directions? Can you make things disappear? I'm not saying that happened. I'm just saying it can happen. But why would you put a shadow of doubt on yourself? That's why you take yourself out of that equation. First thing I would have done is I probably would have called my sheriff or my lieutenant or my captain and look, somebody better come down here and hold me back because all hell's getting ready to break loose because this is my daughter's van. I don't know what's going on, but I got to get out of here. Or something. The state police wasn't even involved. Another agency wasn't involved. So there's a lot of questions that come into play. Now, we know in this area is a high drug trafficking area. That was apparently made. And some of the comments that were made on part one was from the stepmother, allegedly. So once again, you watch this hand while somebody's directing with this hand. So you have to always break things down, ladies and gentlemen, when you're looking at cases on what is said, not only from the departments, but also from family members and people that are involved in cases, because they tell you information and sometimes they lead you in a direction they don't want you to go, or they lead you away from certain directions they want you to go to, if that makes any sense. So you watch with this hand, but they direct you with this one. So when I looked at cases, like I said on part one, this really kind of disturbed me because it didn't draw any media attention. No media outlets took this case. Local papers, surrounding counties, anything. And we're talking law enforcement family, stepmom and dad with rank. Now, this would, to me, being an Indian person, indigenous, right? Local person, that would have gave it a little more stature, higher rank on a totem pole. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but higher on the rank of the flagpole, however you want to say it, more attention. Because now we're not dealing with an average person. Now we're dealing with somebody that's, native. We're dealing with somebody that's a local law enforcement, not one, but two. We're dealing with law enforcement family that's got rank, that's got tenure. I think between both of the family members had over 45 or 46 years with the department. Then one of them, within 30 days, is no longer employed because of personal issues? Ladies and gentlemen, anytime a department comes with you with something and it's not right, you got the Sheriff Association, you got the Fraternal Order Police. It's called the FOP, if you can see it on my shirt. You pay membership dues and you got legal defense funds. Anyways, so I don't know. Let's go panel. Up the bat, we got Kat. Welcome on, Kat. How you doing?
Hi, everybody. Another tricky one here.
How are you?
Not bad, thanks. Hope everyone's okay out
So
there.
you can go ahead and call her Sarah. That's her first name.
Oh, okay, thanks. I just had the photo.
Yes.
This, like you say, is complicated. Another complicated one. I've got major privacy issues with this one and ethical. So I'll be careful. I've doused this twice. There was an area I got stuck in, so I had to go again to try and qualify. As I go along, I'll let you know where I go. She's a USA citizen. She is unable to be located at the moment. All of this is dousing at this moment in time. I've got the media is presently involved, and I asked, was the family assisting? I couldn't get anything. I got no family. So this comes into further dousing further down the track because that set me a flag there. I've got she's been missing well over 2 months, aged between 20 and 30, knows something that she shouldn't have. There was a vehicle involved. It wasn't hers. There's 2 steps to this lady of how this happened. She was alive and well when she was actually in that vehicle. I've got location above ground. There's vegetation, rock, water. The access was easy. It was planned. There's a love came into the motive. This had to be defined again further down the track. I've got she was scared from other people, about other people. Back to the loving interest. I said, is this lady with her lover? And then I had to define the lover. Is the lover a safe person? Yes. Is the love female? Yes. Is the love kind to her? Yes. Is the vehicle involved? Yes. Hang on a second. I've got, does she have biological family? And it says no. This I had to further question further down the track. Is the love person protecting her from something? Yes. Are the ones looking for her a danger to her? Yes. Are the people associated with this love person? No. Are the people looking for her aware of this lady? Yes. I've got who reported her missing. I've got friends, work associates. Then I had to get back down into this other love business. Are the friends legitimately worried about her safety? No. Is she indebted to these friends in any way? Nope. She knows something. Are the so-called friends involved in ST, SA, or CT? CT. Was the friend a victim of CT? Yes. Are the law enforcement involved with the CT? Yes. Is she and the loved person... Oh, okay, hang on. Was the vehicle involved the Sarah's vehicle? No. Was she picked up in another vehicle? No. The second movement, or this first part of the movement, was on foot. I've picked up. There's no pets involved. The first part of this movement, she was within 10 to 20 miles away. Definite double movement. I got stuck with his family. It said no family. So I'm thinking, what does she mean, or what do they mean by that? Has she dumped the family? Does she no longer think she has a family? Has something happened to the family? Was she adopted? So then I had to go down further. No family. I've got question mark. Is she adopted? No. Does she have siblings? Yes. One male. Is the sibling safe, alive, and well at this moment in time? No. Not safe and not well. Then I said, are the results saying she has no family because she's lost respect for them? Yes. Is a parent involved? Yes. Is the parent a biological parent? No. So then I had to go, well, who are they? And I got a step, and it was a female, and yes, involved. Does she have a real mother and father? Yes. Biological? Yes. Did they separate? Yes. Has either of them passed over? Yes. Okay. Then, is the parent involved with law enforcement? Yes. The father and the stepmother. Is the parent a danger to her? Yes. So then I said, which one? It's the female, which is the step. Is the parent scared? Yes, the father's scared for Sarah's safety. Does the bio father love this daughter? Yes. How long she been missing from authorities? More than 2 years. Did the vehicle belong to her? No. Has the vehicle been found? Yes. Was there any evidence in the vehicle? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That was odd. Then I had to question what was going on again. Was I picking up the current signal or a past signal? So then I had to delve deeper. Was she actually in the vehicle that was sighted? I can't get a clear answer on that. I find that very odd. Then, was there any damage to the vehicle? Nothing. Are the results showing she has no family because... Oh, okay. Sorry, I have to skip that. Have they found her? No. Were the feds involved from the beginning? I've got yes, which is very odd, no body. Are the feds still involved? Yes. Is her case linked to any other missing? Yes. Then I had to question the Indigenous side, knowing that a lot of Indigenous have gone missing. I said, is she American nationality? I've got Indigenous and a resident. What is the connection to CT? I had to delve deeper here. It was a red flag. Was she trafficked at any stage in her... Was she trafficked at any stage in her life? No. Are the friends who reported her as missing involved in CT? Yes. Victim. Is a parent involved in CT presently? Yes. Stepmother. Did a parent assist in her disappearance? I've got no, kind of. Is a parent protecting her from another parent? Yes. The bio father. Then I've got, is she scared of the parents? Thus she's kind of disowned them? Yes. So then I've got back into this define the love interest. This is a friendship love only. The friends involved, can they be trusted? Yes. Did they help her? Yes. Do they know something as well? Yes. Are they frightened as well? Yes. Are any of them in protective custody? No. If she's... hang on, I have to skip that one. Has any official information been deleted, manipulated, hidden? Yes. Is there law enforcement corruption involved? Yes. Is anyone involved in the hierarchy of this CT business? Yes. The stepmother. So then I had to delve into the CT. It's big. It's overseas. Involves overseas as well. Then I had to delve into where. So more than one country. Is there also ST involved? Yes. Is there OT involved? Yes. How many? So then I delved into this ring, possible ring, because I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I went back to see if it was a new one or an old one that has just kicked off. So I went 2022, there was 0 to 50 with the T word. But it's increased in 2023 to more than 100. That's a big problem. So then, as a summary, I've got the vehicle wasn't hers. There's no forensic evidence in the car. She left the car with a safe person. She has a sibling, male. He's not safe and well. She's disowned the family. Both she and her friend knew about the STCTOT. They're very scared. There's involvement with the parents with law enforcement. Official documents have been manipulated, deleted and hidden. The male parent seems to care about Sarah. The stepmother is highly involved, CTSTOT, and has a high position of some kind. I have to skip that. The ring looks fairly new and T to more than one country. Appears the bio mother has passed, possibly murdered. The male sibling escaped and is now in bad shape, not well and afraid. That's me.
So overall, you're right
It's
on the
messy.
money.
There was a couple of things that really got me stuck. That was the vehicle being totally 100% clean. And there was no further movement with that vehicle. And the fact that she didn't classify herself as having family. And the feds being involved so early without a body. And the mother, the real mother, and the sibling.
Stay tuned.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Kelly Joe, come on in, Kelly. You're next. All right, Kelly. How are you doing?
I'm good.
All right. What did you come up with?
I got that there's 4 people involved, a cover-up, and somebody's last name starts with the C. And there's corruption, and she overheard something. And there is a main female involved, and it does feel like the stepmom. And it has to do with like undercover operations that they know about, but they cover up. And then they said, scattered to the winds. And then they showed me a little pickup truck, like those mini pickup trucks with a slash on it, like a 1990 pickup truck, because there was 2 locations of the girl. She was transported from the location, and there was nothing, like the other lady said, nothing in the van. But 4 people know. And I keep seeing the giant C for the last name of somebody. And a desolate dirt road and scattered to the winds. That's what they're saying. And I don't know why they didn't get the indigenous police involved. They didn't want to. That's why.
There is a lot of things that did not add up.
And then they showed me, how you sweep something under the rug? A giant broom with a rug lifted up, and it's all swept under the rug.
Yeah, that's why I took the case.
But 4 people know what's going on. But I'm seeing a tree line, a desolate dirt road, and her remains aren't deep. Her remains are just like covered up with leaves, shallow grave, they say. But
wow.
But they keep saying scattered to the wind over and over.
Okay. Hang tight, Kelly. And Angela, you're up next. Welcome to the show, Angela. How you doing?
Doing good, and this touches me very near and dear, but dear to my heart. I'm a member of the Chickamauga Cherokee Nation.
Okay.
The tribe. So anytime I hear an indigenous woman being hurt, it really touches my heart.
Yeah, it's really strange because, like I said, when I looked at the case in the beginning, a lot of people did not get involved. A lot of media attention was not even drawn to it, and it was barely even spoken about. So, and I was very shocked about it. I really was. So, a lot of red flags in my book, especially being, prior law enforcement. So,
absolutely.
So, what did you come up with?
So the very first thing I saw in the image I was seeing, I saw her that she was in a relay, like taken from one vehicle to another vehicle. The first vehicle I saw was a large white vehicle that was a Lincoln Continental type vehicle, very large, very white. She was shoved in the back. I just see her head being pressed down and pushed in. There were 2 men in that vehicle. I got that there was a plan. This was orchestrated. This was a part of trafficking humans. And I also got a location, Guadalajara, Mexico, that she was taken there, and that she was definitely in that city, that she was being held in that city. I got that there is a war going on between two sects of this trafficking. Some people are family related to each other, some are not, but it is a war. It is an outright war, and there are victims and there are casualties of this war, and she is one of them. What I was getting, and that she was held. I just get that she was held in a very small back room of a shop somewhere. So you would see a storefront in Guadalajara, and you would go to a section of town. It feels like the section of town. It feels like it's a very small, poverty-stricken part of town with a glass front. So this little shop, it looks abandoned, but they actually held people there, and she was held in the back of this store. I said, I am strongly getting, I feel her desperation. I feel like there are people involved that were fighting for her, but and they don't show me the outcome. They don't know. I don't know who won, basically. But I still feel like she was taken out there to someplace remote, and it's more desert area. So somewhere out of Guadalajara. I believe she is still in Mexico, in Guadalajara, and that she's out in a desert location somewhere in the vicinity of Guadalajara and western Mexico, or a wooded location somewhere out that direction that's very remote. I see, I keep seeing trees, but I also see rocks. I see a very flat ground. Looks like pebbles to me. It looks like a dry riverbed with a little bit of leaves and stuff on either side. To me, where she was taken, it is extreme heat and exhaustion, and I felt like she was still alive en route there. That's the main thing, and I got this was there was a conspiracy that there were multiple people, and basically that the agency was involved, that they're relying on for help, were involved in this trafficking, and this was a source of profit. So while they're working for the law on one hand, they're working against the law on the other hand, on the backside.
Makes a lot of sense.
And especially when indigenous women, they target indigenous people a lot because particularly the media and the general population doesn't seem to care about what happens to indigenous peoples as much as they care about non-indigenous peoples.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why they target them. But I really feel like that's involved. Another thing, when I look for her, I feel like she's still trying to connect with one of us here and trying to talk to one of us. Okay, so the person that took her out there was a well-known drug trafficker. That I do know, male. Stepmother somehow involved with him, or knows him, or is familiar with him, and connected with Guadalajara, specifically that region, that territory. I just see a whipping, a gun in his hand, and just taking her out there. And there's one other man with him as well. And I hear a gunshot. Okay, and I'm just seeing her laying face down, and she's left there. I mean, they don't even bother to cover her up, nothing. But there are other people that knew that there's another female involved, other males involved. It seems like there are biological family members that are like out for revenge now because they figured out what would have happened to her, and they're actively also looking for the people they feel are responsible. So I feel like if any of those people would come forward who are her biological family or relatives within this, who are active drug traffickers, they would come forward and expose the law enforcement that have been involved with them. I think we would get somewhere with this case.
And I'm not saying, what I said earlier, but it was just awful weird that you get that kind of tenure law enforcement people on the department and they just up and leave. And
yeah,
get terminated for personal reasons. That does not add up in my book. Sorry. So, yep. All right, Angela, good job. Stay backstage, and we'll bring everybody right back on. Thank you. All right, next up, La. Come on down.
Hi.
All right. Hello.
Hello. This one was very dark, but I wrote some notes. She kept saying the name Nicole. I feel something happened to her legs, so either she was tied up or they were removed. I see a man around her age, maybe a little older, tan skin, thick hair, large nose. He's staring off at the woods at night. She shows me her all wet with leaves in her hair. She was hit in the head. It was extremely painful. She said she worked at a local store. She was very kind. The second man was older, chubby face, glasses, beard, mustache, creepy feeling, but felt like a friend of the family. So I don't know. She showed me a log cabin that she was in for a few days while things were happening to her. At least the inside looked like it was all wood. I saw another girl with her where she was. They didn't know each other, but the similar things were happening to her. The bad guy knows his way around town, she said. The man gets excited about doing inappropriate things, being in charge. I feel her father's connected somehow and something with vengeance. The girl was stalked and tricked, so I feel that she knew him somehow. Feels like the man or two men go after certain types, and this wasn't the first time. She keeps saying something about Jerusalem or Lutheran, something about a church, but it doesn't feel like a real church. So maybe it was something in the area, but something about church. The mom doesn't feel like she's in the picture. The true mom.
Right.
The dad feels like he has some skeletons in his closet. And she was saying winter, and it just felt like wintertime. It feels like the bad guy might have video evidence of what happened. Something about cleaning her from sin. She said law of the land and retribution.
Okay, so the law of the land makes sense, and they'll come together once we get Greg on. So, they'll make a lot of sense, and I'll explain to everyone why that is.
Okay.
So that does that, and everything will come to a whole as a totality. Thank you, Lala.
You're welcome.
All right, stand by. All right, Cindy, you're up. Come on in. Hello there. Welcome. Well, I did add you, and I put you right back off.
I was there for a second.
Yeah, a split second. It was like, bam, and you're out. But
Right.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Wonderful. Glad to have you.
So I did not hear anything about. I tried not listening to anybody. So I don't know her name still. I don't know anything about this. So I'm just going to go through my list, and I sent this to you. But there are other things that I have also been that I didn't write down.
Okay.
So I'm just going to start listing everything, okay?
Absolutely.
With the picture of the young woman, I feel like I'm around friends. So I literally feel as though I'm her. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm very much a physical medium. So I feel as though I'm around friends, or I see others around me. I feel anxiety, like I want to leave because I'm very uncomfortable. I thought I was okay. Like I thought it was all right at first. Like I felt that I was in some place where I was safe. And I say safe with a question mark because I soon felt as though I was not safe. I feel like I know who these people are, but more like acquaintances than a good friend. But the other thing that I got with that, I felt like they're more like friends of family and or friends of friends. But then I'm like, oh wait, I feel like they could be friends of family. And that kind of like disturbed me a little bit because I felt as though that there was at least a female that I know that could possibly be very close to friend or family. Okay.
Right. Okay.
And I shouldn't feel so scared being with this female is how I felt. Right. I felt scared, like something isn't exactly right, but then I started feeling like panicky. Like I just wanted to head for the door. I felt like I needed to run away. And maybe I had already been harmed at that point, but I also felt I didn't know what Florida meant. Because I felt Florida, but then I also heard a couple names, and they were at two different times when I heard them. So one was Chrissy or Christina, and I don't know what that means. If I get a name, I just say it because it could be peripheral, right? It could be somebody in their life. The other name that I also, there was two things that came up for me. I had a client that her daughter had been killed by domestic violence. And for some reason that had come up as well. So for some reason, there has to be some kind of something in there having to do with domestic violence or something. Okay. And I got that twice actually with this client that I had, but also a local murder that happened with a young woman who was actually, I'm not certain if she was legal yet or in the process of, but she had come from like Colombia or something, and she was working the farms and stuff with her husband in my area, and her baby had been killed, her and her son, and they have it linked to more domestic violence kind of things. But there is that dual space and place for what they're bringing up, right? So her being from someplace else and being here in the States. Okay. So the other thing, there's several things. So for some reason I kept feeling like a little pup or a little kid or something small around me, and I felt like I needed to protect them, or I was looking for them. So I don't know what that is and how that comes into play. I also felt that my reactions, like all of a sudden I realized like I wasn't feeling completely right. I'm not reacting as quickly as I should. So I don't know if drugs or alcohol had been at play. But I do feel like if there had been any drugs or alcohol, that she would have received them without her knowledge, because she was more surprised at the feeling of like, why am I acting like this? Or why am I feeling like this? And that's how she made me feel. It's like, I didn't understand the reaction time, right? The other thing that started happening is my front teeth here started to hurt. And I'm like, what is going on? So as I was in the bathroom right before I had come down to see you, it may be an injury, whether it's a blow with something, fist, an object, a gunshot, I don't know. But I also heard the name Maritza or some variation of that. So I'm not certain of that name. That was the second name that I had picked up. Those are pretty much the things that kept coming up for me over and over again. And this is the thing, is I don't necessarily believe she's alive.
Okay.
Can I have her name? Is that okay if I have her name now?
Yeah, Sarah Graham.
Sarah Graham.
Sarah Graham, that is correct.
Okay.
And once Craig is done, I'm going to do a recap. I'm going to bring you all back on so that we can hear what everybody says, what I'm going to say.
Okay, great.
Yep, so stand by. Good job. Thank you. Stand by. All right, Craig, you're up the bat. How you doing there, kind sir?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Glad to have you back, sir. Glad to have you back.
Thank
So
you.
what did you come up with?
This confused me. I don't know if it was. I believe she left her mom's and her brother with her, so she has a sibling, but she left there for a kind of a reconnect with her father. I think there was many years of no contact or physical contact. May have contact over the phone or FaceTime, that kind of thing. But to actually know who he was, I don't think they had that time together until now. I'm going to say it's jealousy. I think the stepmom was extremely jealous of the attention she was getting, or that she wasn't getting because of the daughter being there. I do believe the stepmom definitely knows more than what has come out. And I think the dad knows about it too. Like I think everybody knows about this, but nobody's talking about this. It was all kind of hush hush, put under the rug, kind of thing. I think the stepmom was okay. I'll say crooked cop. She was a crooked cop, and I think she had more ties to sex trafficking, and I don't know.
Yeah, just say trafficking, because YouTube's really cracking down.
Sorry,
just say trafficking. Yeah.
I think part of her undercover or part of her investigations brought her close to people that dealt with that kind of thing. I don't see any evidence as a crime scene, or like it didn't happen in the car, so there was no evidence for the car. I'm going to say I believe she's on native land, and the reason why I'm saying that is they can't be searched. I think there's such a wide area, and it seems like it's kind of shut off from everybody else. I don't think you get fired from any job unless you've done something wrong.
No, in law enforcement, it is very hard to get terminated, and unless they got dirt on you, and this is how it works, Craig. Let me tell you something. Either you bow down gracefully, or I'm going to smear you and terminate you, and you will not be able to go anywhere else in law enforcement. You understand me?
Yeah.
So
but why they both bowed out? It's not just one, right? Like, so obviously her dad knows something You wouldn't be fired for investigating your own kid's murder. Period. You just wouldn't. At least I don't think you would. You know, I think you would be given
I mean, there'd be a conflict of interest. I mean, you'd be reprimanded. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, but my thing is that, you know, if you had some involvement, let's say allegedly, okay,
yeah.
you had some involvement, you could, you know, tamper with evidence.
Absolutely.
You could, if you were a detective, you could maybe persuade somebody to look the other way or put somebody on a false lead or a false path, right? So, I mean, you can taint a lot of things.
Absolutely.
So,
and I see jealousy, big time jealousy. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Was there any other children in that home?
Now, that was very, very interesting. Because when I do the recap, we're going to cover that. And I don't think, when I do the recap, I don't think there was. I may be wrong, so don't quote me on that.
Like, I'm feeling a three-way relationship almost, and the stepmom having her husband to herself, and then all of a sudden, now someone comes into this situation where I am not number one anymore. Quite a piece of work. The stepmom is definitely a mean person, vengeful person. So let's go to what happened. I think I kind of think mom and or stepmom and daughter went out. I think it's almost like they either met up with somebody or brought somewhere to where this could happen, or someone was added to the picture to make the situation happen. I don't believe it was the dad originally. I do see this kind of being the stepmom kind of spearheading the situation. And I hate to say this, but I think it's part of whoever was involved in this, they were Native as well. I think that's the only way this could be still so hush hush. Kind of kept in the family, so to speak. I did feel traffic in the beginning, but she was too hard to handle, too hard to deal with, too many brains, too much spunk, too much, just too much. And I think they decided that it wasn't worth the effort to keep her alive. I do see a shallow grave. I don't. Again, I think it is on native land. the father does know now what happened. And really, I think everybody in that department knows what happened to some degree. You just don't let go to police officers for nothing. And even if they were, involved in the case or not staying out of the case, that's still not grounds enough to fire them. Not in this situation. Because again, if I was a police officer and my daughter was missing, of course I'm going to be involved in this case.
Yeah, you would have to pull me back. You'd have to pull me back. It would be hard not for me to be involved. Yes,
totally. And to have colleagues say no, you can't be involved, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They're going to be hugging you. They're going to be consoling you. They're going to be doing everything humanly possible to take care of this. And to have no news coverage, to have no anything, only screamed cover up. Like it can't be anything else. Because, like, was there missing notices? Was there missing persons? Was there, and I keep hearing, no, there was none of that. Why wasn't there? And it has to be a cover-up.
Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't, because, you could have any other case in the world has coverage. Period. They do. I know I'm going to agree with Layla about the mustache, kind of scruffy look, long brown hair, 5'10". I'm going to say native. I think the stepmom was just a bad cop and kind of had her fingers dirty. And I think she's related to that dirtiness or that trafficking. And that's how she was able to do it. Again, I don't think the father knew about this right away, but I 100% believe he knows about it now. And why was this pushed under the rug? And
right.
The only reason it's pushed under the rug is if someone's dirty.
Right. All right. Watch this. All right. I'm going to bring everybody on. Stand by. Right. Hold on. Kat, Kelly Joe, Angela, Lala, and Cindy. All right. Now, here we go. I'm going to do a recap. So, on the morning of February 4th, 2015, Sarah left her house around 6:30 a.m. for work. She started her work usually around 7 a.m. Sarah never showed up for work around. She never actually showed up at all late. Never. Around 12:15, the sheriff's department received a call for a suspicious vehicle in a wheat field. And when they arrived, they found Sarah's vehicle, which is a Chevy Astro van, in the field near the woods, in the wood line. And it was locked, and there was no sign of a struggle or a crash. And there's no sign of Sarah at all. So the searchers turned up nothing, and Sarah Graham is officially reported missing. She was born on August 1st, 1996. She has a brother, and her parents go on to split up when Sarah was young. Sarah, her brother, and her mother lived in Texas, and says that she has a very little any contact with her dad while she was growing up. For some reason, we don't know the mindset of making her decision, but she left Texas and she went to live with her dad in the summer of 2014. So we don't know what happened in Texas, but something happened. And she was considered to be part of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina. In 1855, the tribe was recognized by the Indian state of North Carolina. The tribe was sought before recognition from the United States government. Big tribe. So I think it says here the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina is 55,000 members. So good size. Let's see here is the largest tribe in North Carolina east of the Mississippi River. Let's see here all the way through Robeson County. In 2014, Sarah moved to Fairmont, North Carolina, a small rural town just north of South Carolina, border here. She lived with her dad and her stepmom, while her stepbrother, somebody said,
Okay.
remember? Somebody asked that, stepbrother. Lived with them well. Didn't know. Now, nobody knows the family dynamics. This is what they say. Nobody knows about the family dynamics. Now, this is one thing that I hit on during the first part of the show. I remember this now because I was like, what do you mean you don't know about the family dynamics? You got a missing person and you don't know how the family structure is? That doesn't make any sense. Because nobody knows if they got along or not. And nobody knows about how the home life was, about how Sarah was adjusting when she got there about the move. Nobody could answer that. That doesn't make any sense when your dad's a sergeant and your mom is on the same department, right? So that didn't add up. So nobody had any questions of that. So that was strange. About 6 months after moving in with her dad, Sarah woke up for work, like always. And it says it's important to note that the events are told to law enforcement by the stepmom.
What? What was that?
All this is being told right now by the stepmom to law enforcement. Nowhere near did the dad make any comments. She left work about 6:30 a.m., which made sense that she worked at Walmart in Pembroke, North Carolina, which is about 20, 25 minutes away. And her shift starts at 7 a.m. She's always known to be reliable and dedicated, and it was odd when she didn't show up to work early for her morning shift. So my question was during part one, if she was so reliable and so dedicated, and you work for Walmart, ladies and gentlemen, if I was an employer and Sarah did not show up, what's the first thing you're going to do after about an hour?
Call the house.
Here you go. Did you oversleep?
Who
What's going
reported her
on?
missing?
Nobody.
Nobody reported her as missing.
No. So listen. they didn't find the van until 12:15 in the field. But listen to this. This is what didn't add up. This is what got me quirky. They said that around 12:15 in the afternoon, deputies in Robinson County received a call for a suspicious vehicle abandoned. When they arrived, they found the Chevy Astro minivan parked in a wheat field all the way against the woods. The vehicle was registered to Hubert Graham's, Sarah's father, which is Robertson County Sheriff Sergeant. So when they ran the registration, it came back to her dad. So guess who got the first phone call? The dad. What's your vehicle doing out here in the woods, in the field?
How far out was it from where she worked, the vehicle?
Wait a minute. Just
Sorry.
hold tight. We're
Sorry.
going to get there. So the van was locked up. And it seemed odd. There was no sign of a crash or a struggle, and certainly no sign that the van was an older model, but it needed to be locked in manually with the key. Now, I said earlier in the show, we know how to lock an older vehicle without a key. You hold the door handle up. Let me bring Cindy back on. You hold the door handle up, you press the button, and you slam the door and let go of the handle, and you lock it. Or you slam the door and put the key in, you lock it that way. That's the cheater way. All right. So the wheat field was located on East McDonald Road near I-95, Centerfield Church Road, Chicken Road. Centerfield Church Road is on the road which Sarah and her family lived near Fairmont. In fact, the house was just 6 miles away from the van was found. Witnesses came forward to recalling seeing the van there as early as 6:45 a.m. Her stepmom, correct me, I'm sorry, stepmom said she left the house at 6:30, allegedly.
Was the stepmom the only one that supposedly saw her?
The stepmom is the only one making comments to the law enforcement. So now we have witnesses that say, no, we saw that van at 6:45 a.m. that morning. So now we have a time frame, allegedly, within 15 minutes. Now she disappeared. But people are getting calls saying that they're gotten a suspicious vehicle in a wheat field at 12:15. See how this time frame's not adding up? No, it does not make sense. So they found that. So people are witnessing. They have witnesses that came forward to recall seeing the van there as early as 6:45 in the morning. But no one saw anyone there or anything unusual around the van. Now, wait a minute. You see a van near the woods in the wheat field, and you're trying to tell me that's not unusual?
You're not going to call Ring.
Wait a minute. There ain't no hunting season in January. Not that I'm going to know of.
Nope.
But anyways.
So she never left for work then?
That's what I think too. After he
Wow.
I didn't say it.
Well,
I didn't say it.
I think that's
telepathically
a good deduction.
Yeah.
So evidence pointing to where weather balance what actually happened. This was exceptionally out of character for the shy, sweet 18-year-old girl. Remember, this is her stepmom saying. Go ahead, Cindy.
I didn't realize, I didn't tell you guys the time frame, but this didn't feel like early morning to me. This felt like evening. This felt like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. I would say between 8 and 10 p.m. that felt like to me. It never felt like morning at all. I never felt that.
Well, I can tell you beyond a reasonable doubt, I don't think it ever happened in the morning, to be truthful.
Yeah.
If she was on foot, that would have allowed like 12 hours.
I think, in my personal opinion, this is just going off, police instinct and cases and, my instinct, whatever you want to call it. I think the vehicle was staged wee early hours in the morning.
Exactly.
And everything happened the night before. And they had it all wrapped up and planned. And yes. Because Robinson County took over the case first, and coincidentally, Sarah's father was a sergeant on the department. Sarah's stepmom was also a deputy in the department. Officers, investigators, and volunteers scoured the area, but no clues. They brought in helicopters, bloodhounds, and no leads. The area is rural and was just 6 miles from the house. And the search took place, and the van was found on East McDonald Road next to the house and the church, and nothing. But this is what's weird, right? Now, remember, I always say, listen to what people say and how they say things.
Right.
And further, someone took Sarah. They had an easy and quick escape route. Attention from any media, or wait a minute, let me rephrase that and go back. Caroline's, Virginia, and further, if someone took Sarah, this is from her stepmom, they had an easy and quick escape route. Sarah's case received very little attention. Now, somebody else is speaking, media source, because to me it seemed odd. And the father was the sergeant. And remember, I said, I mean, if I was on the PD, man, I'd be. Because let me tell you something. When I was a spokesperson for my PD, man, I pick up my phone. I would have 3 news stations down there within the hour.
Right.
Want to do interviews, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, go ahead.
So obviously this is around the stepmother. So if your kid was involved in something, let's say, or illegal, and you were a police officer, you would cover up everything.
You have the opportunity to do.
You would go to ends of the earth to make sure your kid doesn't do time. Cover up anything.
You could.
Right? And you would.
What if the father helped to get away?
Right? And yeah, that just makes sense to me, We don't. Yeah. So being a stepbrother involved in illegal activity kind of just makes it just fits.
So they're wanting to know because Sarah Nicole Graham. So somebody, Lala Nicole was her middle name. So yes, that was called out in the comments. That's her middle name.
Awesome.
So, and actually, I think she came back to join her native tribe too. So, but she never did make it. I don't think she went back to it all the way. So, but it is known as a heavy drug trafficking area. Her stepmom did allegedly make that comment.
Why is she the only one talking?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's another red flag. I need to get me red flags and start having like stands. Because because people don't understand, because when people make statements, right? So when departments, and no offense to law enforcement agencies, big or small, because we're not, I can't say we now, but they are human beings, detectives, officers. They make mistakes. They do. Whether it's mishandling evidence, collecting, whatever, change of custody, however you want to pronounce it or say it, they make mistakes. The problem is that it's what you say and how you say things, right? And how that can tell you what they are not telling you and what direction they are trying to lead you.
Mhm.
So when that comment was, well, that was an easy escape route. So what are you not? So what are you trying to tell us?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where they try to lead you where they want you to go
Yeah,
Yeah.
to get you off of where you should be.
that's disgusting.
Plant that seed. Plant that seed. Yep.
Yeah.
Because from what I read on YouTube comments on a couple of different channels, is like everybody thinks the stepmom's involved, and and everybody's proven innocent till proven guilty in court of law. But unfortunately, it doesn't look good in her favor. But the problem is if the dad knows, then he's just as guilty as well, and
I
that's
think
how the law works.
I think she'd be the type to tell them what to do and they do it for her. That kind of situation. She seems like she's got a lot of control.
I wonder, and I don't know. I'm just thinking. I wonder if it got bad at home, and she said, "Screw this! I'm going to live with Daddy because he's in law enforcement, and stepmom's in law enforcement too. So they're probably supposed to be at the throne of God, right? Because they're in law enforcement." And she got up there and was like, "Oh my God, they're involved, or somebody's involved in doing what?" And she did not like it or something. I have no idea. I'm just saying. And she's like, "Man, I know I can't handle this." And maybe, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe something like that happened.
Absolutely.
So, but it was just weird that after a month after she went disappeared, her stepmom got terminated, right? Because of personal reasons. Then after that, her father of 23 years, 25 years, somewhere around there, a sergeant, he left, went to another department as a police officer. Then he finally became police chief of another department in a small town.
Police chief.
As a chief, yes. Because here's the deal. Look, man, you're not going to get another job, but if you leave right now and keep your mouth shut, I won't burn you. Because if I terminate you, you're never going to get another job in the government
Yeah.
sector. So you bow out gracefully, you can go somewhere else and start over. I've seen that happen. I've heard it happen.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying, what's your all's vibes? Standing Stones wants to know what's your all's vibes on that.
I think that's what happened. What you're saying happened, And I think there were other people involved that they were hurting. And I think she did find something out.
She was a very honest child.
Mm-hmm.
You just, she's honest. And I don't think her mom, her real mom, was dishonest. I think she was raised properly. And then kind of being thrown into that lifestyle of good and bad, and then realizing, wait, I'm living in with the bad. They're not as good as they're trying to portray.
Yeah, well, my other question is that when I looked at the case before I took it on, is that the state police wasn't involved, the tribal police wasn't involved, but the FBI was.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
The FBI, is that what you said? The FBI is involved?
Yeah.
So does that indicate high connections? Oh.
Yeah, I don't
just thought
understand.
that was strange.
No.
Yeah, the FBI usually doesn't get involved unless there's something operation was going on that involved other agencies.
Right. All connected.
Well,
Isn't that
FBI
the
doesn't
only
usually get involved. What's that?
Isn't that the only reason why the FBI would get involved? Is
No,
it
if they were
was
taking it out of the
something to do with
hands
the
of,
department?
if state and local, if they were taking it out of the hands of state and local, FBI could become involved. Or if it's across the borders, if it has
Right.
to do with a child across the borders,
Right.
they can do that.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there was two
Federal
locations.
crimes.
Right.
She was
They can make
taken to
it a
two
federal crime.
locations.
Right. And,
Because I saw
do that.
Guadalajara perfectly clear as early as like it was outside the city looking at it. Like that's where she was taken. Like this is where it all ends up, is in Guadalajara in Mexico.
Did anybody get anything with her legs? She kept showing her legs, and I just didn't quite understand.
She was
exactly.
tied up. Before she was killed, she was tied up.
Yes. She was tied up in the back of a empty storefront.
truck.
What I was getting in, like there was an empty storefront, and then she was stuck in the back somehow, and in the city, as the temporary holding place.
And she was shot in the back of the head, execution style.
Okay, because my head really hurt.
Yeah.
My teeth hurt.
Well, because the
kinda
bullet
picked up.
went through her mouth.
Oh, wow. You know, my heart
My
goes
teeth
out
don't
to the
hurt anymore,
family.
thankfully.
Yeah, because
You know,
if you
it
get
really
shot
does.
in the back of the cranium, it's going to come out your mouth.
So it's just like it's just cases like this that, you know, the media, there's no justice for Sarah at all, and it breaks
No.
my heart, right? I still don't understand why the travel police didn't get involved or is not involved at all.
I don't understand that either.
Yeah, it really
The only thing I
makes me
think of is-
question that. Go ahead, Cindy.
The only thing I would ask or question is maybe because it wasn't on tribal lands, but because she belongs to the tribe, they should be doing an inquiry at least. I would think.
I would think that it would be pushing the envelope a little bit, at least in the media, you know, as one of their own.
Right.
So
you would think
you know,
if it was one of your own.
Yeah. I wonder if they defamed her somehow with the tribe, though, right? Where they wouldn't want to bring attention to about her if they defamed her, like said something wrong about her, right?
well, either that or there was, you know how small towns are, right? Either that or their stepmom and dad already had a reputation and it wasn't maybe a good one.
Yeah.
And the tribe, you know, denounced them, or what do you call it when the tribe doesn't want nothing to do with you?
Yeah.
What do you call it, Angela?
Well, it's sort of like on the shunning. Basically,
So,
you're shunned. That's the best word.
Ostracized.
Yes.
yeah. So Rebecca says somebody mentioned the name of a church or something.
She kept saying church for me, but you said she lived on Church Road or something like that.
Yeah, it was the church. It was the name of the street. Yeah, so
yeah,
Termite Church Road or something. Yeah. So
But
yeah.
I keep hearing scattered to the winds.
Right, because I was getting kind of the same thing, that it was like she wasn't buried, that she was left to at least not buried well, and exposed, because she'd be easy to uncover, because in the area where they have it's quite isolated. I kept seeing a riverbed, like a dry riverbed, and woods, and shot in the back of the head.
It goes to show all of y'all was, you know, right on the money, and y'all hit all the key points to the case just by picking up the picture. And I mean, y'all are amazing. So hopefully that the family members in Texas can use some of this, and hopefully the FBI could take some of this and use it to their benefit. Who knows? It's just sad to see cases like this that just go unsolved. It really does, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I wish you would have more media attention. I mean, particularly tribal matters and indigenous women, or if you look at crime statistics, indigenous women are so much more frequently the victims of crime
and underserved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is a whole movement. I don't know the name of it. The ladies have red hands on them. Mm-hmm. It's something for the movement for the indigenous women.
Mm.
You'll have to Google it, but there is a whole movement for the indigenous, of the lost indigenous and murdered.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you all for tonight. And we should have another case probably about 3 weeks from now. I'll be working on another one, and I'll get together with you guys. So I just want to say thank you all, and you all have a good night.
Thank you.
And I'll see you here shortly.
Have
all
a
right,
good
take
night,
care,
everybody.
and God bless. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.